Hi, I'm Krista Nogler, and I'm the Program Manager for Upopolis. Today I would just like to take about 10 minutes or so to walk you through a tour of Upopolis. Now, for the safety and confidentiality of our users, I'm not really in our live Upopolis. We're in what's known as the test site. So this is where when we have any new changes or we have any bugs or enhancements that we need to look at, it's all done here with the team at TELUS before going live on the live site. So just wanted to make sure everyone knows that some of the dates and stuff you might see on the post are a little outdated, and that's because we update content into the test site occasionally as we're working on different projects. So to start off, I have just logged into Upopolis with my username and password, and what happens is you land on your news feed. So as you can see within my news feed, will be just like many other social media sites. What I see on the screen will be populated by my friends' posts and by the posts put into spaces. Other social media call them groups that I belong to. So that's what I'm going to see. So that's why it's important that when different sites or hospitals are looking at bringing their youth onto Upopolis, that you don't just bring them on for the sole purpose of putting them in a very specific private group. So that's one reason that people like to use Upopolis, is it gives you the option to create groups or spaces, we call them. So you can have group meetings or you can share content with a specific group privately from your hospital. Now, when you do this and the youth belong to this space, you need to invite people into the space. So if you join somebody onto Upopolis, you just put them in this private space, they're only going to have the friends from that space, or the potential to make friends from that space if you allow them to see the members list. And they're not going to have any other groups that they belong to, which means that their newsfeed is going to be pretty boring, and therefore Upopolis wouldn't be that engaging for them. And they're probably not going to keep their account very long. So what we recommend is that if you want to create a private group on Upopolis for maybe your youth advisory council to connect between meetings, or maybe you have a specific diagnosis that you're wanting to connect. We a grief group, a scoliosis group, an oncology group, a transplant group, a diabetes group, any one of those specific diagnoses, and you're wanting them to be able to either connect for meetings or between meetings or just to get peer support and know it's a place where they can meet people from their area, then you would do that, but you would still make sure you connected them with some other spaces on Upopolis, because you want them to have an engaging newsfeed, because you want them to keep coming back. You want them to get all the benefits of having access to Upopolis and their peers going through the same experiences. And then you also want them to have access to that group, which is your primary goal for them. So just a little sidetrack there, but really wanted you to know why it's important that we keep that newsfeed engaging and we don't really hone in and limit them, because oftentimes we really want to protect them. And this is a very secure site. Youth are signed up by healthcare professionals in person. So you're their doctor, you're their child life specialist, their physio, their nurse. You're recognizing this is something they can benefit from. So you're creating a referral for them online through the Upopolis online referral process. You're an approved referrer by our team. Your hospital has recognized you as someone who's able to make referrals. You get them to fill out the pledge. You get to make that referral. We know that it's a youth that's being referred, and we set up that account for them to make sure it gets set up correctly. So very safe, very secure site, and it's monitored. So every day we have at least 2 sets of eyes reading all the reports, and many days we have 3. So always reading the reports every evening or every morning to make sure that all the stuff that's been posted throughout the day is appropriate. We even have the ability to be able to read private messages that get sent back and forth, and they are within those reports. We're able to click on them to see them, so audits are done of them as well. So once again, we're back here on this newsfeed, and you'll see on the left-hand side my profile picture. This profile picture, if you want, you can choose to use one of our pre-made avatars, or you can upload your own personal picture. Now I can show you here how you would just go into the settings, edit my profile. It's the second one down. you would go under account information, and then you can go here on the right and select an avatar if you don't want to have your own private picture used. So there are lots of avatars to pick from, as you probably got a quick glimpse as I picked mine. Now, there are different themes as well. So if you're not liking the black background that I have, you can then pick purple, or you can choose to have green or blue. But we do have some options so people can personalize theirs, as well as we give them this extra information tab, which allows them to share a little bit about their interests. So if they would like to share their diagnosis, they can, in case they're looking to connect with other youth who have similar diagnosis. They're also able to fill in all those typical teen things, like your favorite quote, your favorite experiences, movies, sports, your hobbies, that type. So as you can see, there's a tab here for them to change their password and other account and personal information as well. What I will let you know is there's some things that we don't allow them to change. We don't allow them to change their birthday. We don't allow them to change their name. And those things need to be done first through our team for the safety. We want to make sure that nobody else is getting access and changing where their information gets directed or who's able to log on. So now we'll just look here on the left. On the left, you will see quick links. So why would you want to use Upopolis, or how would you use it? If you're having youth who are looking for maybe someone's not coping so well and you don't really have the resources to be able to spend the amount of time that they need, or you want them to be able to go in and explore and see all different options that are available, then you might want to suggest to them that they belong to different spaces like UCope. And UCope is actually one of the 5 spaces we ask you to sign all youth up to. So in UCope, as you can see there on the newsfeed, there are different little tips and things that different youth have shared about coping skills. But you can also go into the links and information tab. And in that links and information tab, you can see that there's different things for the youth to select. This might not be as updated as on the live site, but in there we have different coping strategies, different relaxation techniques, help if you have some needle fears, 99 ways to cope, different resources that we find as child life specialists who work on Upopolis and that we vet and we make sure that are appropriate for youth and come from reliable resources. We might link them within this section so that youth are able to know which other sites outside of Upopolis might have or do have good information written specifically for them. Or maybe these links might take them exactly to something that we've created ourselves. So we do have an amazing UCope video that all the youth across our country and Canada have created last year, and we're able to link that within this section so other youth can access it as well. So as you can see, this is one of our spaces, what others refer to as groups. All of them are laid out the same. So we have numerous ones from transition. So that's a great opportunity for youth who you're looking for a goal to work on their transition. And it can be transition to just learning about taking on that responsibility of knowing their own health care story, or transition to a different facility or hospital. So giving them access to transition information. Also, we have information and links to some school resources for practicing their schoolwork. So if you have a youth that's missing out on school and you have some school support for them at the hospital, but still want to give them access to be able to work on their skills for that grade level, we have suggested sites from teachers where they can go and work on specific subjects for specific ages. And it's more of a practice type thing. They can also use that space to be able to connect with other youth at their grade level, or if they're working on a project and need input from others, then they can post a note on that space asking for support from the other youth on the site to be able to get some help with a project. And I don't mean that the other youth would be doing the project for them. I mean, if they had to do a poll of people for something, or if the youth was stuck on a question, they might ask another youth for help. So all of the spaces and groups are set up the same. They have the space wall where we were originally when we came on to UCope, where youth and staff, we can control who can post on different spaces, but this one is open for all youth to post on. There are positive coping techniques. Then this links and information section, which I'm in now, which you can add PDFs or links to external websites. You can upload photos, and then there's a members list. Now, sometimes this members list does not appear when it's when the security settings are set so you can't see who the members are. But of course, you have to keep in mind that if you're wanting youth to connect with other youth, there's going to be some spaces we're going to leave that members list open. So if you're joining the oncology crew, and crews are our spaces for specific medical diagnosis. So if you're joining the oncology crew, we're going to leave that members list open so that the youth are able to meet other youth with their same diagnosis independently without having to ask a healthcare professional to find another youth for them to connect with. This way, they can connect within Upopolis themselves. They have some control over that by going into that members list, and it only shows their first name and their last initial when you are on Upopolis. So you can't go by a hidden screen, you can't hide behind a screen name, So you're going to go into the members list. You're going to see somebody's profile picture, their avatar. You're going to see their first name and their last initial. So if you went into that members list and you pick somebody, I'm just going to pick our previous Upopolis program manager, Allison. So as you can see, when I clicked Allison's name within that UCOPE members list, I'm now able to see her wall. And on her wall, I'm able to see that extra information that she added under Edit My Profile. So now I know that she loves comedy, she likes dogs. So now I've just landed back on my news feed. But what I wanted to point out to you is that I'm able to have my own wall. So this is where all the posts that I post would appear. And this is a great space for youth to be able to blog about their healthcare experience if they like. So, okay, yes, you have your wall, you have your messages, you have your photo albums that you can add pictures to, and you have your friends list. Basically, though, most things that happen within Upopolis happen in the spaces section. So as I showed you when I went through, we have 3 quick links for spaces. Upopolis main space, and this is where we, the Upopolis team, post most things. So if we have an initiative going on, if we have contests going on, they all happen here. We post things here. We post welcomes occasionally using people's first names, just so that other people know there's new people on the site in case they want to reach out and welcome them too. And then our medical content. So we have Jess who works on this site. She is our coordinator. And she's always vetting content, content that healthcare professionals pass on to her, content that she's out there looking for. She's always building that, that medical library within Upopolis. And for us, it's not about reinventing the wheel. This is a private space. So we're able to share links to other sites with other great, reliable information. So we're happy to have hospitals have their own private spaces and share links to information that they want their patients to see. And then we're also happy to share with the greater Upopolis population resources and links to resources as well. And we also post our own resources that we develop with the youth on Upopolis within the section. So that's another reason why you might want your youth to come on Upopolis. You have a youth and you really want them to learn more about their diagnosis, or you want to know that they're taking in and processing all that information you're giving them. So you're going to get them to work on a project, and maybe you're going to reach out and ask our team if we could work out a project with the youth to help the youth show us that they understand that that knowledge transfer has happened and that they understand what's going on. So there isn't just 3 spaces within Upopolis. You click the drop-down menu for My Spaces at the left under the profile picture. You can see that there are lots of spaces, and in fact, there's like 150 spaces. But there's everything from the crew spaces I mentioned. Here's our asthma crew. You can ask Jess, our coordinator. So youth will ask her things like, I'm going for an MRI. I don't know what to expect. And she'll kind of give them the basics of what you can expect for an MRI. And if needed, and if she's concerned, she might reach out to one of our key contacts at your hospital to say, there's a patient coming for an MRI. Who might I connect them with at your hospital for support? So that way, she's maintaining the confidentiality of the youth, but someone at your site is able to help her to connect them to the right person. Sometimes camps will ask us if they can have spaces within Upopolis, and it's not to promote their camp, but to connect their youth to one another throughout the year when they're not at the camp. And then we have other spaces that the youth just create themselves. So if you have a youth who's in hospital or at home and having to spend a lot of time away from their community, then one of the things that they might be able to do is take on a leadership role in Upopolis. They might be able to be one of our U-Pals, which are volunteers. And these volunteers are just regular youth on the site who also choose to create a space and lead that space and add content to the space every week around a topic of interest to them. So we have one girl who loves alpacas, so she has alpacas, illusions, and laughs. We have somebody else who has a joke space. There's a coloring sheet space. There's a dog space. The list goes on and on. But really, that gives the youth some opportunities for volunteering, especially if they can't be out in their community and their school requires them. We are happy to give them certificates for the hours and time they've dedicated to their volunteer opportunity. So that's a little quick tour of Upopolis and what it has to offer. I'm happy to answer specific questions, so please reach out and email me at support@upopolis.com, and I will be happy to answer any more questions or give examples. But if you're also interested in knowing like why Upopolis, then I really encourage you to go to upopolis.com. There's a tab there at the bottom on the left-hand side that is why Upopolis, and there's a PDF or a web page that opens up there that will explain to you the therapeutic benefits of having Upopolis, as well as the benefits to the youth and you as a healthcare professional, and how it can be an extension of your service, especially as we see more and more youth being treated on an outpatient basis, because Upopolis is able to be used after they leave the hospital, or sometimes youth aren't even in hospital when they get connected. Sometimes they just get connected when they're in for a clinic visit. So thank you, and I hope you have a great day.